What video game do you consider a masterpiece? Before gaming changed to online, the Jak and Daxter series. The growth from 1 to 3 was amazing. I still want to replay it. Also Ratchet and Clank Dual Arsenal was the best out of the series. Online, Gears of War 2. I remember playing and no one at the time was throwing smoke grenade. I noticed it would be a stalemate hiding behind walls. I'd get killed every time. Then I remembered playing the story, that smoke grenades will send you flying, and it took like 3 to 5 seconds before a player gains control again. Once I started that, it spread like wildfire in the lobby. Missile Command. Must be played on the original arcade cabinet, with a trackball and 3-button controls. Gameplay is as straightforward and immediate as Tetris or Pac-Man, but the addition of the trackball to aim and the 3 buttons to fire from each of your 3 silos, elevates the gameplay to something so perfectly intuitive that controlling the game feels like second nature. The game then becomes a fluid test of reflexes and hand-eye coordination that even Tetris struggles to match. So simple but so perfect. Doom Eternal. That game is like an endless dopamine loop. No matter how you kill demons, the game rewards you for it. Freeze them in glory, kill them for health, set them on fire for armor, and chainsaw them for ammo. Not to mention blood and guts are flying everywhere as a resulting of you slaughtering every demon inside at a blistering fast pace. The game also makes you earn the power fantasy of being an unstoppable badass, making the game all the more satisfying when you master it. World of Warcraft. How many games out there have gone on being actively played for almost 20 years? It was so good that they actually released the original game again and restarted the journey for a whole new generation who missed it the first time around. I've made friends that I've kept for over a decade in WoW. It hasn't always been perfect, but I've always enjoyed my time in game, and no other game has ever had the staying power that WoW has for me. FPS a person. Cyberpunk 2077. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Uncharted entire series. Far Cry 3. I heard they're all good, but I haven't played the others. BioShock, all of them. Assassin's Creed most, particularly Black Flag. God of War, all PS3 and PC titles. Batman entire Dark Knight series. Splinter Cell series. RTS turn-based. XCOM 1, 2 and expansions. Company of Heroes 2. 01 and 2. Empire Earth 2. Soul Blazer. Fallout NV. Portal 1, 2. Zelda Bot. I haven't played Totk yet. Skyrim shallow on the RPG, but the world makes up for it, and after clearing the disappointment that was Starfield, makes me want to go back to it again. Witcher 3. Uncharted 4. Bloodborne. Flu 1, 2. Journey. Zelda: A Link to the Past. Red Dead Redemption 2. FFVI 9. Chrono Trigger. Hollow Knight. Dishonored 1, 2. Only 3. I'm 30 and started with DOS games. Death Stranding. Hellblade. Nier Automata. All 3 makes you feel things that a movie format couldn't possibly make you feel. All 3 teaches important personal growth through tragedy and overcoming it, and all of them treat gameplay as a supporting tool for the story, instead of wanting to make a game then figuring out why. Grand Theft Auto 5 and Halo 2 Anniversary. GTA 5 because there's simply so much to do, the story is great, and its multiplayer is awesome. H2A because it reveals a lot about the game's lore, in terms of the antagonist's political situation. The story itself is great, the characters, the music, and the absolute f-king quality of the cutscenes. Please tell me I'm not the only one thinking of the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy. It had some flaws, but the underlying story, that perfectly fits with the other games, the breathtaking visuals, the supersized maps, the funny dumb stuff knocking someone out with a hamburger or a fish, it has definitely his masterpiece. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I absolutely adore that game. I don't think I have a single complaint about it. One of, if not my favorite game of all time. My favorite series has got to be the Batman Arkham games. Yes, including Knight. I know a lot of people didn't like the Batmobile sections, but I found it pretty awesome. TBH. Oof, where to start? The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Final Fantasy VII. Red Dead Redemption 2. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Elden Ring. Chrono Trigger. Bloodborne. Metroid Prime. The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Metal Gear Solid. Earthbound. Super Mario Odyssey. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Portal 1, 2. Everything is perfect. Pacing? Perfect. Gameplay? Perfect. Puzzles? Perfect if a bit easy, but perfect for beginners. World building? Perfect. Characters? Perfect. GLaDOS and Wheaty are 10/10. Only story isn't perfect because there's not really much of it. But Hemo, this game is a masterpiece. Grand Theft Auto 4, I have played and completed that game more times than I can count and I never get bored of it. The Mafia series came close, but the atmosphere, the characters, the story, and the iconic radio stations of Liberty City will always be the most special to me. Everything about GTA 4 is perfect. Somehow no one has said Donkey Kong Country 2. It's peak 2D platforming to me. The graphics were out of this world for the system it was on, and the soundtrack is god tier. Add flawless tight controls and level design that few have been able to match, and you have a legendary game. It's basically a better Mario. You know what? I must say Cyberpunk 2077. The atmosphere in the city is amazing. Gameplay is rock solid with a ton of variety. The story is deep and great. Been a while since a game got me glued to the screen like this. I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about CP 2077 in the future as one of the all-time great games. Terraria. The progression is so great and the skip from pre to hard modes is one of the best implemented power creeps ever. Also, the gameplay besides progression is nearly perfect and the development team interacts a lot with the community. It's by far my all-time favorite game, and I don't think that will change. Warcraft 3, its expansion, The Frozen Throne. The map editor and online multiplayer features were incredible. It was like having access to 100 games in one. Call of Duty 2 on the 360. Pokemon Gold, Silver, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Tetris. Halo Combat Evolved, to a somewhat lesser extent, Halo 2. The Suikoden series, an RPG series somewhat unique for its time with literally hundreds of characters, engaging plots, a decent level of character customization especially later games and more than one battle system. If I could only play one game series for the rest of my life, this would be it. Undertale. Yeah, I expect some of you to go kids game, dead meme, yada yada. But in my opinion, it's genius. Good soundtracks, okay story, okay gameplay. But what makes this special is that the game makes the player really weld into the character they're playing as. Super Mario Bros., still fantastic fun almost 40 years after it launched. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, insanely great, the peak of Kojima's career. That there are people who dismissed it as boring blows my mind. It's almost like the perfect video game to me. So many varied answers, I love it. Metal Gear Solid is an uncontested masterpiece to me. The story is great, the themes it touches upon were unheard of at that time, it's cinematic, the characters are unforgettable and now looking back, highly influential. GTA San Andreas. Sure, it's glitchy as hell and graphics are of its time, but it's still a beautiful game, some of the best voice acting ever, great soundtrack, captures the 90s perfectly. It's so enduring that it's endlessly memeable. Terraria. Mainly because it's never been fucked over by its devs, unlike a game it's commonly compared to, and is the only game I can think of with built-in mod support. Oh, and its community has only ever had one major-ish drama. Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Super Mario 64. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Resident Evil 4, both 2006 version and 2023 remake. The Last of Us. Portal 2. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Bloodborne. Sifu. Elden Ring. RDR 1-2. Flu 1-2. Pokemon Gen 1-2. Mass Effect 1-2. Burnout 3 Takedown. For me, these games either perfected the mechanics within or had stories that expanded beyond anything else I have experienced in the medium. All of the World of Warcraft expansions. This also includes classic vanilla WoW up until Cataclysm. Wrath of the Lich King was honestly peak. Beautiful landscapes, soundtracks, emotional storyline, plot, energy, etc. People trash World of Warcraft in every which way, players and non-players alike. But the Warcraft story and WoW itself have been alone in their genre for almost 20 years now. I think that speaks a lot for the game. Doom Eternal. Amazing combat, sound, music, world, and enemy design. Great story that isn't shoved down your throat but it's optional to read more. Amazing guns, ugh. This game deserved GOTY 2020, not Last of Us 2. Where's my Morrowind peeps at? So many great games since then, yet none of them have quite captured me the way it did. The nostalgia really carries it hard these days, still gets played every couple of years. Silent Hill 2. Just emotional damage on repeat. It took the concept of this town as spooky and turned it into what being forced to live the embodiment of your own trauma and guilt would feel like. Shadow of the Colossus. Been playing it since I was like 6 and it's only continued to intrigue me. My favorite example of video games is in art, and the gameplay is just super fun on its own. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's a beautiful, captivating game with its interesting lore and majestic scenery. If you're looking for a game to play, I'd strongly recommend this one. My Summer Car. Perfect view to 1995 Finland with car maintenance and 18-year-old country boy shenanigans. Ashes 2063 Afterglow. Best shooters I've played for a long time and they are free. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Halo 3. Metal Gear Solid 3. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Dark Souls. Dying Light. Elden Ring. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Hades. Absolutely perfect roguelike gameplay and repeatability. Great story, fantastic art and music. I've been playing Hades for 3 years now and don't stopping anytime soon. Commodore Amiga. His storyline 1914-1918. Atari 800. Eastern Front. PC. Cossacks 3. StarCraft 2. CC Generals. COD World War II. Coin-Op Arcade. Assault. Intellivision. Sea Battle, Mass Effect, and especially 2. I like all 4 of them, but the second has a better story and more intense action and some really good scenes that the others doesn't have.